3, 2, 1, go.
To the Triad of the Force podcast, the podcast from 3 Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. This is season 3, episode 9, and today we will be talking about the, in my opinion, surprisingly good first episode of Moon Knight, which is not that departed from Star Wars because the main character is the one and the only and amazing Oscar Isaac.
Space Papi.
Space Papi.
So,
I mean, it's Star Wars, Dune, and Moon Knight, like Space Papi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's right. You're right. You're very right.
We live in the in the garden of his turbulence. We live in the days of Oscar Isaac and Pedro Pascal. This is everything else is just a parking lot for
it is
their
exciting times. Exciting times. But just remember to like and subscribe and comment and let us know what you think about the show, because maybe you hated it. We would like to know that. Yes. But anyway, before we dive into the episode, Goose has an announcement.
We have a very special announcement. This channel will now be kind of doing unboxings. That is the announcement. I have finally caved, and after months and months of saying I will never be that nerd that has a lightsaber, I have become that nerd that has a lightsaber. I saw the Hasbro Black Series Force FX Rey lightsaber. I have purchased it. Whoever knows how much it is, you don't have to tell anyone how much it is. I'm an adult. I have a job.
Is it embarrassingly expensive?
It's embarrassingly expensive, I believe. But what's the point? What's the point of working if you don't get the things you want for yourself? And I did it.
You don't get to spend money on toys.
Here it is. The Rey. For everyone that's listening, I apologize, but I am showcasing Rey's Black Series FX lightsaber from Hasbro. It is a thing of beauty. I was not expecting this.
Look at that girth.
Look at that girl. Yeah. It
looks thick.
It looks dangerous. What it looks like. You have to know how to wield it.
I mean, Rey knows how to wield it.
She spent a lot of time alone in the desert, so she has to know a thing or two. So it's sturdy. It's sturdy. It feels good. It feels good in the hands. I wasn't expecting the weight. The girth, I expected it. We saw the movie, so we know what to expect in terms of that. But the weight, it's not fake. It's not fake. It's not fake. It's the real.
That's how you know it's real.
Right. It's made of metal. It's made of metal. The craftsmanship is amazing. It's got some really nice weathering details that make it look like it's been through hell. Like obviously
very cool.
The whatchamacallit, the ribbon.
It has like race color in the
right.
Yeah.
But are you ready? Are you ready for the good stuff? Here's the good stuff. It's when you ignite it. If everyone remembers the movie when she ignites it. It changes a couple of colors before finally turning Rey's iconic gold or yellow, whatever you want to call it. And guess what this one does? It does the same thing. Who knew that this was so beautiful? Do it? It's like, and who knew I would feel like a 12-year-old kid again, like feeling like a Jedi with this thing.
Come on, give us some sound effects.
You want the sound effects? Like there's a cute little button here that if you press it, it's like you're deflecting a couple of bolts. If you hit it, it does the clashing thing. If you keep it pressed, it has like this little like a lighting effect. Like if you're clashing sabers, I don't know if you can see it because of the webcam. Very cool. But you can hear it too. Like Rey and Kylo are having like a rough night and they're clashing. That's the sound. That's the sound. Right?
That's the sound.
That's the sound.
That's the sound.
But it's a thing of beauty, and that was our announcement. That's it. Sorry to disappoint everyone. We thought that we were going to talk about anything exciting. But no, I digress. This is going to be like Steve Jobs. Just one more thing. We are so thrilled, and like we can't even believe that we're saying that these words are coming out of our mouths and that we're announcing this. Anyone that follows us on the Twitterverse and Instagram already knows, because we couldn't contain ourselves and we had to make a post about it. But the Triad of the Force, not only does it have 3 people watching it from home, which are only our parents, now we will have 3 more people who might be our
Yes.
parents who bought tickets to go to Celebration. Watch us at Star Wars Celebration on the podcast stage. We have been selected to participate officially as a podcaster at Star Wars Celebration. That's insane. I can't believe
That
it.
is.
It's insane.
I
It
mean-
is insane. I still can't believe it.
It's just like we've gone. The circle is now complete. You know, we started
We can
at
retire.
a Star Wars celebration, saying we wanted to be podcasters, and
Yep.
now we're coming back to a Star Wars celebration as podcasters.
It's a I didn't think about it that way, but that's exactly how it
Yeah.
happened. All those years ago down in Orlando. When was it?
Yeah.
2017, 2015?
the seedling, the baby seeds.
That was
of
The baby
awards.
seeds.
The Triad was born in a fashion in Star Wars Celebration, and it shall become a ginormous beast at another Star Wars Celebration. First on the East Coast and now on the West Coast. So we're taking over the continental US.
And then the world.
And then the world. Watch out. Yeah. Like all you 4 countries that are listening. No. It's gonna become all countries except maybe Russia and Belarus. You know why?
Yeah, you know why.
Uh, not my
Or,
fault,
or
not
you,
my
you know
fault.
what? Maybe they need to listen to this type of podcast
on the
you
on
know.
pirate radio.
on the pirate radios.
But yeah,
We'll be banned by
we
Putin at some point. So
exactly. we sent like our application like a month ago, not thinking that much was gonna come from it, because there's ladies and gentlemen, all 3 people listening. There's a lot more podcasts out there. It's not just ours. It's not
Yeah.
just ours. So we were like, we're a small fish in a very, very big pond. So we thought, that we're not going to do it, but we would have been remiss if we hadn't applied for it. Have some Puerto Rican representation, some Hispanic representation. We always talk about it, so it's just like, let's be active and being part of that representation that we want. So we sent our application, and now we are going to be part of that representation, bringing everything from our small 100 by 35 mile island all the way to California. For all you Star Wars nerds, get ready. We're coming, and we're gonna bring the goods. So
And we're loud.
and we'll be loud. Yeah, I hope the
Yeah.
sound mixing guy.
Is prepared.
ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
the
he'll
loudness.
need to like adjust those. Those levels. It's equalized. But yeah, we'll have more to say about it, obviously, as we get closer to the date for guests and whatnot that we're gonna have and topics. So stay tuned, because we are officially sanctioned by Star Wars, I guess.
Who knew?
In a way.
It would happen.
So all
Ever.
those episodes saying like, hey, Dave Filoni, hey, Kathleen Kennedy, hey, John Favreau, if you're listening, kind of true. They kind of are.
maybe
Kind
now
of.
they're-
Maybe they're secretaries.
maybe
Nerd
Maybe.
dreams coming true all around. That's what it
Yes.
is. Yes.
beautiful.
I
All
know.
coming together.
Yep.
Speaking of nerd dreams, we got some new Marvel stuff that came out.
Yes. We would not be a Star Wars Plus podcast if we
Right.
didn't talk about other things in addition to Star Wars. And as everyone knows, we've been talking about all the MCU shows, or most of the
Yeah.
MCU shows. We did not cover Hawkeye. Sorry, Jeremy Renner. But we would be remiss if we did not talk about the Space Papi of all Space Papis, the man himself, Oscar Isaac, as Moon Knight. And we're a week late. Apologies. Life happens. But we're here to talk about that first
Yeah.
episode. And what a first episode it is. I think there's some mixed reactions
Yeah.
based on our pre-episode conversation. So why don't we start with Nani, so we can like start balancing, so we can do like a compliment sandwich. We'll go Nani, then Mo, then me. And do that
And now you
compliment
know where
sandwich, and
everybody
that should-
stands.
and now you know where everyone stands. So
Yeah.
Nani, what did you think? Were you looking forward to the show? Did you have expectations? What were your how were you coming into it, and like how did you
Okay.
feel leaving it?
So the only expectation that I have for it is that I've always been a fan of both Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke, and finding out that they were going to be in it, I was mildly excited, that they were going to be doing this, but
Mildly excited.
mildly, because to be completely honest, nerds, please don't kill me. I had never heard of Moon Knight in the entirety of my life. So
Same.
yeah, so I had no idea
It's,
who
it's
this.
always, it's good to admit that's a good thing.
Yeah, so I didn't know
We're not
anything about
supposed
this
to know
character.
everything, yeah.
So when the show was announced, I had no idea what to expect, or what type of show it was going to be, what type of character Moon Knight is. I'd heard some rumors that, you know, he had mental health issues, but that's about all I knew about the character. I didn't know anything else. So zero expectations. And then I start watching the show. And first of all, any show that starts with a Bob Dylan song, I'm already kind of sold right
Oh,
there.
right. I totally forgot about the soundtrack already. So thanks for
Yeah, the
reminding me.
soundtrack was amazing. So I was like,
Mhm.
they started with a Bob Dylan song. Okay. Starting to get my attention already. And then you have that weird scene with Ethan Hawke, like putting glass on his shoes. And I was like, what is this weird thing? What am I seeing? And it hooked me in pretty fast. And I was at attention the whole time. And it just kept building and getting better. And there was like real tension throughout. Like I already said, the soundtrack was really complimentary to what was happening in very weird ways that we can get into that later too. And because I know nothing about the character, so maybe people hate it because it's a bad interpretation of the character, I wouldn't know. But because I know nothing about the character, I'm really enjoying the whole mystery of figuring out what's actually going on, and the use of mirrors and glass and the reflections and everything really caught my attention. And by the end of it, when you finally get the reveal of the hero, because then they hold it until that very last scene when you first see Moon Knight, was like cut to black. Holy shit, that was good. And I remember as I was watching it, because the acting was also really, really good. I was watching with Husbando, obviously. I was like, is it late? Too late at night or something? But is this like actually good? He's like, no, I'm agreeing with you. This is actually good. So we were both really excited by the end of it. Okay, I'm really looking forward to the rest of it from now on. So that was my initial reaction. I really enjoyed it.
Mo, you seem to have more of a lukewarm
Lukewarm
reaction, for lack of a
reception.
better word.
I think Nani hit on like the few like the things that were like so intriguing about it, like the soundtrack, the play with the mirrors, the play with like water, sand. There's like a lot of there's a lot of like allusions to like the grounding of the feet, and that's I'm gonna say that I think that's gonna be very important, especially if it's a character that's mentally unstable. I think grounding is one of the best techniques that. So the fact that there was so much focus on the feet at the beginning was very interesting in that aspect.
Oh, that's good, because both start walking on glass and sand. I mean, what is glass? It's sand, right? So
it's bones.
Boom, loved it.
So,
Mobius strip all over again.
And I was just intrigued by the whole concept of it. It's just like, to me, like the execution just seemed like wonky. That's the word that comes to mind.
Wonky.
That there's all of this like if you're gonna do something that's based on like just real like mythological Egyptian lore, like go into it. Like don't scare,
go full
don't
weird.
be afraid. Yeah, don't be afraid. Like you're already you're push the boundaries. Like invite the mystery in, and I think that was part. Like the mystery was there. It's just didn't feel like more. It was like I wanted more. I wanted to be pulled into that madness, and I just didn't felt like I was being pulled into the character's madness. It was more like I was just spectating the character's madness, and then that could be more like that's just my craving. I always enjoy those delusions and characters that go through mental barriers, but that's what it felt. It felt like more like they're just skirming the topics and trying to like, oh, we're gonna pull you in, but it felt like if it was like a magic show instead of like real magic.
Yeah, but I think that we could actually get more of that, because we were supposed to be spectators in this episode, because Steven, that one personality that he has, because clearly he was at least two personalities. He's a spectator there, so he's figuring things out now. So I actually really enjoyed the fact that we start with, I black out. I don't know whatever happens. I have to restrain myself because I have no idea what I do. I have to force myself to constantly stay awake, to slowly discovering what actually happens when he goes to sleep. And we see those implications from that point of view. So I think we're going to get more from Mark, the personality's point of view, and how all the madness started. And hopefully if they do it in a way that's really bringing in the madness, that it's just going to get even better.
Yeah. I agree with both of you. I mean, I did enjoy the show a lot. I didn't know what to expect from it, except quality. You know, at this point, like I think I've stopped assuming that well, this is gonna be the first Marvel crappy show. Because even even Ant-Man or Hawkeye, which at least to me, sorry for fans of both of those movies and shows, those are like the Marvel's weakest, their weakest output so far in terms of like the media that they've put out in the MCU. And even then, it's still enjoyable, still entertaining, still good. It's not bad by any means. I think the only categorically bad thing Marvel has done is like not Defenders, the Inhumans, which no one saw on ABC, and then Iron Fist, which no one saw either. Even
It
though
was
it's on
terrible.
Disney Plus now.
I unfortunately saw that.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was terrible.
That
That was actively terrible.
It was
Iron Fist was actively terrible.
Thankfully, I did, and I just went around Iron Fist. So yeah, so like at this point, like it's Marvel. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing, and it's Disney Plus. So far, it's been good stuff. And having Oscar Isaac on it only heightened my interest in it because #representation matter, #Space Papis. So Oscar Isaac, he's a god among men, god among people. I mean, I think everyone
should be included in the comparison. Yes.
Yes. Everyone is in love with Oscar Isaac. I'm sorry if you say you're not. You're wrong.
You're lying.
You just have to get it.
And you're
you have
lying
to get in touch.
yourself.
You have to get in touch with your Oscar Isaac sexuality to acknowledge it.
Space Papi sexuality.
So, but I did enjoy the show, and one of the reasons that I did really enjoy it a lot was because of the whole mythical aspect about it. Because as opposed to like Iron Man and Captain America, I mean Thor is based on Norse mythology, but it's like a hyper real mythology, so it's not based so much. It's mythology adjacent to an extent, right? Thor, but all the other heroes are modern myths, modern heroes and the new monomyth of American heroes. And one of the things that I really liked about Moon Knight so far is that it's actually going into Egyptian myth and actually tying into like that ancientness of it instead of being like myth adjacent like Thor. It's rooted in that myth and that oldness of it, right? I said oldness so I don't have to repeat ancient again. But I do agree, Mo, that they didn't go into it as hard as they could have. Yeah. However, I think that was a purposeful decision because like he's discovering it, right? He's like figuring out what the hell's happening. But that whole sequence, like at the end when the Egyptian god thing with the beak just shows up, I'm like, what the hell is happening here? So I want to see more of that for sure.
Gorgeously shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you get one of the things that I really enjoyed about the show is that you get so many different aspects of entertainment from it because you get the mystery, you get the myth, you get action sequences. That car chase was fantastic.
Interesting. Okay.
And
I'll get to the car chase.
Okay. And
the cupcake car.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to
mistake.
it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to
it. That's what you're saying, but we'll get to it.
Well, I wasn't paying that much attention to the actual car. I was just very much enjoying that they used Wham to soundtrack that entire car chase, which I thought was fantastic. I was actively singing along like an idiot. But and then you get really awesome like hallway scary movie shots that are done really well. And then you don't show which is what I think is the mistake of modern day horror movies, that you see the bad guy completely from the beginning. So it loses that edge of mystery. And the fact that we see like through the lighting and through the movements, we don't really get to see what it is. And, kind of jump scares and just well-timed suspense. And the entire of the episode, you feel an actual sense of tension. Like you don't really know what's going to happen to our main character. And I think that's a flaw in a lot of our superhero stuff, is that there's no stakes really. You kind of assume everybody's going to be fine, you know, until Marvel literally killed everybody off, but you still knew they were going to come right back. So, you know, you always assume it's hard to pull off real tension. And I think in this case, they were actually able to pull it off. So that to me was impressive, but we'll see how it goes moving forward.
No, I agree. And I agree with everything. The only thing that I felt was actually wonky was that cupcake chase car chase sequence, not because it was bad. I think if this, and maybe it's because like I like VFX and CGI and stuff like that. So like I really try to pay attention to that stuff. Looks like Mo disappeared. Oh, Mo's power has left. So unfortunately, Mo will not join us for the rest of the episode. So
we shall continue.
That's Puerto Rico. That's Puerto Rico for you. As I was saying, so like those are things that I really pick up on and distract me a lot. And for me, that whole sequence when he's traveled to, where is he? Amsterdam, Sweden.
He's like in the
Europe.
Alps somewhere.
Yeah,
they don't specify, but yeah.
It's just like a lot of those scenes really felt like CGI, and like it really took me out of the moment. And it wasn't because obviously a lot of these scenes and a lot of these shows are
like the
CGI,
one guy like jumping onto it looked CGI, and then the logs looked really CGI.
And it's not like in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where that first episode they had like the whole skydiving sequence, and obviously that's all CGI, but that was good. You know, it was convincing. And here in Moon Knight, that whole sequence, at least to me, threw me off because you could feel that it wasn't real.
Yeah.
And when that kind of happens, that kind of takes me out of it. Not to say that ruins the show to me, because I do think it like ends on a super high note, even though it's a downer, right? With the whole stake thing. But for me, that was kind of the perfect way to end the show. It's just you start establishing this character. He says he's vegan, blah, blah, blah. Then you see all the personalities. Then you see that he gets stood up, right, for the date or whatever it is that happens. And then he eats the steak. And then he orders it well done. You just see like a broken person, which I was.
It's so sad to just watch how he orders. Even the waiter he understands that this person doesn't know how to order a steak. To actively see him struggling, like, what cut of steak? How do you want it? The best part, and the acting. I mean, Oscar Isaac was amazing the whole way through. I know we're saying so much that we love him, Space Papi, whatever, but this was a different Oscar Isaac. I mean, when he first starts speaking in that British accent, he sounds so unlike himself. I was so confused at first. I was like, wow.
Did you think it was good? I thought it was great.
I thought it was great. But I mean, I don't know anything about British accents. So, but
true.
But I thought
there are bad ones, like Keanu Reeves in
oh no, that's really
Dracula. That is like categorically bad.
Keanu Reeves is a vampire and a god, but he should not attempt.
He should not be doing accents.
No, he should not attempt any accents ever. Like, he's just monotone. That's the way he speaks. You accept it.
You're a surfer guy.
You accept it. But I thought it was good. And the fact is, and it's interesting because it happens because I watch a lot of K-dramas and stuff like that, how people's voice and pitch changes depending on what language you're speaking and the accent. So it was really, he sounds really weird. And then when, the Mark personality comes off and has like an American accent, you can, the tone of voice, everything changes, which I thought was really good. But Oscar Isaac portrayed this character like that constant exhaustion because he's forcing himself to stay awake. You can see it in every line of his body, how he moves, how he walks, how he speaks, the constant confusion and fear of not knowing what's going on. And I feel that's very evocative, of what happens with mental health when sometimes you're not actually aware of what's happening. And it's that confusion. You don't even know who you are. You don't understand yourself. That has to be the most terrifying thing on the planet. Forcing yourself to stay awake because you have no idea what you're going to do when you fall asleep. And it was really, really well portrayed by Oscar Isaac. So I was, from the beginning, I was like, wow, I've always thought he was a good actor, but right now I'm blown away.
Yeah, and definitely want to see more of him. But speaking of good actors,
Ethan Hawke.
You know who else surprised me a lot is Ethan Hawke. I mean, we all know Ethan Hawke's a good actor, whatever. And I the thing is, I never would have expected Ethan Hawke in an MCU project, to be honest.
I would have never
like to see him
it.
here, in this role it's just perfect because I think he's just doing it so well. Like to do this like a savior, religious zealot
Yeah.
persona. Just does it so well. Like this calm, cool, and collected
Yes.
character. You know,
Yes.
calculating and methodical. Who like knows no, he's 3 steps ahead of you, but he's not. You know, but he's not
Yeah.
telling anyone what's happening. He just does it. I am really enthralled by his character, especially with what you said, Nani, with his introduction, right? With the broken
Yeah.
glass and walking on, and then walking on the cane and the, you know, and the little
Yeah.
weight,
The tattoo. Yeah.
tattoo. I'm just like,
The scales of
everything in the show,
justice.
everything in the show is
The
working for me.
cane as like an aid to walk, but also the pendulum to decide your fate. There's some really good details to that, and the fact that he's, like you said, he's always just like cool, calm. Even if things are going against him, he's just like chill because I'm in control here. And there's something fantastically creepy about him, just like in the
Mhm.
way he smiles and the looks and everything. It's just
Mhm.
so subtle, but it's so creepy.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously waiting to see how this plays out, but we might get an actively good Marvel villain in this show through Ethan
Yeah.
Hawke.
Which we know they have been few and far between. We've had
We've had
good
Loki,
ones.
obviously, but I
Obviously,
tend to
Thanos,
classify Loki as an anti-hero.
well, now
Thanos
he's
was
because
great.
he's had
Yeah,
his
now
journey, right? But
yeah.
now, oh my god, I forgot Killmonger. Killmonger was great.
Killmonger was great too, but they kind of ruined Killmonger a little bit there at the end. I feel a little bit.
Well, he changed the hero's mind, so I think ultimately
yeah.
Killmonger was right, and he changed the Black Panther's mind. So
Yeah.
And who knows? It's the MCU. He can come back.
And who knows? Yeah. And
but,
Thanos, obviously, but
yeah, they've been lacking.
they've been
We'll
few
see.
and
We'll
far
see
between.
if we'll see if the, oh my god, I forgot his name. The new big bad we just saw in Loki. He who remains.
He who remains. Yeah.
But well, he has another name. I forgot it. Sorry, nerds.
Fine.
But I'll remember at some point. But hopefully he proves to be like a worthy successor of Marvel main villains. There's one thing though about the show that I'm not so quite sure about, because one of the things that was, I don't know if advertised is the right term, but that has been hyped up about it. So this is going to be like a darker show than we're used to for Disney Plus, and it's going to be closer to all the Netflix shows. And I'm like, okay, because the Netflix stuff is that stuff.
That
dark.
stuff was dark. Yeah.
And so like, so when you compare something to that, I got expectations. And that show didn't. I mean, Moon Knight did not come to Netflix levels of darkness. So that's something I don't know if it's gonna build up to that at some point, or if it's still gonna have the Disney wash of it to keep it.
I don't think it will.
Hard
I think
PG-13 instead of a.
I think it's gonna be really hard to come up to Jessica Jones, Daredevil level of darkness in a Disney Plus show. I have to be honest.
I don't think they want to. I think Disney wants to kind of keep their, I think they want to push it, but I don't think they want to get to that ever again because it's Disney. So.
And it's a different direction. So, and it would have to be weighed also, I think, with how dark of a character Moon Knight is, which I don't know.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So I don't know how dark this character is, because it was very appropriate for characters like Jessica Jones and Daredevil and all of those guys to be this kind of heavier Marvel hero that doesn't really fit into your massive cinematic view because you won't appeal to all audiences. So it would have to be
fine, I think.
Of course it's fine. You don't have to appeal to all audiences.
Right.
But with Moon Knight, because I am not familiar with the actual character, I wouldn't really know. But considering that we already know he has multiple personalities, probably possessed by an Egyptian god, and is a mercenary, epic Egyptian god, and is a mercenary, we can assume that it's a pretty dark character. And Mo, welcome back.
Power in Puerto Rico.
Power in Puerto Rico.
So we were just talking about how the show might compare to the darker Netflix versions of superheroes like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and
and how we think it's
Daredevil?
not gonna get there.
And it's not gonna. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Even though Disney
that makes
Plus added
possible.
all the shows, so
Yeah. But you have to change your
possible.
setting to mature.
it's okay. I'm an adult. Yes. I bought a lightsaber. I can change my parental
What is,
controls.
do
on
we
my
know what the
Disney
show
Plus.
is rated? Because that would make a difference if we knew what it was rated.
And then it doesn't seem any more than P-13 so far.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Right.
Apparently,
But-
I uninstalled Disney Plus from my phone, so I cannot check immediately.
Okay. And there's also an argument that just because you make something look dark, it's not actually dark, and you make something bright, it isn't dark, because WandaVision was a very bright show,
Dark, yeah.
and it touches on some very dark, deep psychological themes, and just because it's pretty doesn't mean it isn't dark.
Right. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be The Crow to be dark. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be bloody F-bombs
Yeah.
and darkness.
Yeah.
To
Mhm.
have darkness, a darkness within. Yeah. So
Correct. Mhm.
Scary type of darkness.
yeah. So like, unfortunately, right, this episode is coming out when the second episode,
Salud.
bless you, when the second episode of Moon Knight will come out. So we'll have to wait and see, like, if we're gonna keep doing like individual episodes for this, or if we're gonna group them together in the future, kind of like what we did for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But very definitely looking forward to more of Moon Knight and more of Oscar Isaac, and obviously
It's supposed to be
more
short.
of-
I think it's only like 6 episodes.
I think it's a limited series, yeah. So like, I don't know what the
Yeah.
goal is in terms of Moon Knight's inclusion in the MCU. I would
Yeah.
think that you don't cast someone like
Ethan
Isaac
Hawke and Oscar
to-
Isaac to
Well,
play.
Ethan Hawke's a villain, so like, I feel villains are disposable to an extent.
I'm okay with
Uh,
villains
So do
surviving.
we-
How much
do we-
good
do we
things
know?
I've gotten
So
from
am I.
Loki.
So am I.
Do
So
we
am I.
know if they're the villain? Like, again, this is a character that
Yeah.
whose point of view we don't know. Moon Knight could be the villain by all means.
Yeah. Because so
I
far
don't
it
think they're
looks
gonna
like
pull that because he is, hero
We'll
in the comic
see.
books. So, well, we'll see. I'm
was.
okay with twists and turns.
but clearly Moon Knight is,
Maybe one of the personalities is
mercenary.
a villain. Yeah.
because Moon Knight looks like a mercenary, and apparently Ethan Hawke's character, I'm sorry, nerds, I forgot his name, is trying to save the world. Obviously, from his own point of view, the same as Thanos. Thanos was trying to save the world
Right.
by eliminating half of everybody. Sorry, the universe, by eliminating half of the people from the.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
if you haven't watched it by
and-
now.
But indiscriminately, everybody. There
True.
was no
Random.
True.
Random,
And
right.
this one character
justice.
is supporting
Yeah.
God who actually weighs people's deeds. The problem, obviously, being is that they're judging future deeds too.
Future
and I
deeds.
think where
Which
that's
gets
where the
into
conundrum.
the minority report conundrum. Can you really judge something on
Mhm.
something they haven't done yet? Because if you tell them that they're
Yeah.
gonna do it and they don't do it, then how can you judge the deed? So
Right.
Anyway, we're talking about a
conundrum.
goddess that can actually see space-time continuum. Like,
But this is like what's that movie with Morgan Freeman and what's his face from who played Professor X in the young X-Men movies, with Angelina Jolie with the gun.
oh, the swinging shooting game
yeah,
thingy.
yeah.
Wanted?
Wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that movie where Morgan Freeman is supposed to see the
Yeah.
future for the things in the fabric and the.
But then
the
you start
wool or
changing
whatever.
things to
But then
profit
he's like,
yourself.
yeah, but
Yep.
then he says exactly. So maybe this
Which
is
could have
like
happened with the
what-
goddess that she started
exactly.
using.
Maybe she's just
Yeah.
doing it to further her means, and it's not being like honest to the actual person's.
And I feel
futures.
like we
It's
will get more about that mythology because obviously whatever god is possessing our character is one of those gods that originally imprisoned her.
Mhm.
And
Right.
there had to be reasons for it, not just that, oh, she sees the future and she wants to punish early. There's some drama there clearly between the gods. There's
Mhm.
always dramas between the gods.
There's always drama.
Always.
Because these
Always.
gods are never godly. They're always very human like.
And
which
they
I find
live
is
forever
very
and they get
interesting.
bored.
So
I wonder who made them.
yeah. Hmm. That's a discussion for a different episode. Maybe after
Yeah.
Star Wars Celebration, that we don't get, we don't get.
We talk about the
I'm not-
mythologies and think about how
it's just
how
like,
they're
hey,
presented
that's not-
in different cultures.
Like
I'm
all the
all up
all the
for
moms,
that.
all the moms in Catholic school
Or
that
that.
get offended when you talk about God as a mythological being. We're gonna
Mhm.
avoid that conversation until after the convention.
Talking about it. I want to go to the tension.
Yeah, that happens. But anyway, I think we have run our course for the episode. So final thoughts. What do we expect? I know we're uber excited about Star Wars Celebration and we can't contain ourselves, but we have to finish talking about Moon Knight.
I expect a shirtless scene from Oscar Isaac at some point.
Do
gonna
you
happen.
expect that or do you want it? Or is it both?
both.
I think
A
it's
little bit
both.
of
I think
both.
it's both. It's a little bit of both. Oh, yep.
Both. Why not? He's a good
not?
looking man. He's a good looking man and representing us in the best way he can. And if he has to take off his shirt, god damn it, take off his shirt.
Is that what you have to do in the line of duty then?
Exactly. I want to see more mythological stuff though.
Yeah, so do I.
Seriousness. I want to see
What
like
about
more
you,
stuff
Nana?
with the gods and the personalities and like what it means with ancient Egypt and all that stuff. I want to see all that brought into like the modern world and what that means. So kind of turn into like a Hellboy a little bit when like they're bringing in like all the creatures and it's like starts getting
Yeah, you go
weird.
into
I don't
fairy
know.
tales
I don't know.
and
I don't know if this is that type
Mhm.
of show, but I'm in if they go in that direction. Yeah.
I'm always for as the weirder that you get, the better that you can get. And this show, like what Mo was saying, and why Mo was upset that it wasn't as firm, is that you're mixing, which is really cool when it works. What's the show that you really love that I forget the name of the Xavier
Full
Sons
Metal.
Ah.
Yeah.
God.
show? Yeah, which it has a lot to do with mental health instability. Legion, which is fantastic, and it's a trip and it's not for everybody, but it's good. But when you take a superhero that already has underlying issues to deal with, because all of them do, we've already talked about that, all the superheroes need therapy, but you combine the
Legion does,
character. Yeah, Legion does. But this show has the possibility to be amazing because you're combining a character who probably, I'm not sure, has DID, which is what would be called like multi-personality disorder, combined with one of those personalities is a mercenary, probably possessed by an Egyptian god. I mean, you could take this in so many weird and amazing directions.
Yes.
And I'm always for make it weirder, make it better, make it more interesting, make it something else. If you're taking it away from like the main cinematic releases, you have a little bit more leeway, which obviously we saw with Loki and WandaVision, especially. So I would want them to go that direction. Just freak me out, scare me. I don't know. Just and continue with the excellent soundtrack, because the soundtrack.
Yeah. On point.
Yeah.
What about you, Mo?
What about
are
you,
you
Mo?
looking forward to?
I want to see everything that we saw just weave together a little bit better. I feel like there's just too many. Like it's not cohesive. If the one thing that does come to mind, and again, this just like now just combining a bunch of like Marvel stuff and getting into weird territory, that this could be like prime way to introduce like the mutants from X-Men into the Marvel, because you do have the Apocalypse and the Egyptian connection.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. Yeah.
And it makes sense in terms of like timing, because we got Doctor Strange too, and it seems that Doctor Strange might have Professor X. So
that's if I can see that being the connection, like that can be the trigger in this universe to bring back the X-Men or the mutants, but like Nani said, just get wonky with it, like even wonkier, like get crazy with it. Like take a, like you already, if you're doing a character that has the ID, like you already did a character that has the ID, like look what worked from Legion. Take shift it along, make it, and like plaster that mythology into it. So like, yeah, let's get weird. Let's see how it connects. I don't know if Marvel, it seems like Marvel these days just wants to connect everything, so it eventually will connect. So
Well, and like Gus was saying, it is important actors that are brought in, so there is a high possibility that it'll connect. And obviously they're trying to build the new Marvel Cinematic Universe because they lost most of their big ball players, and if they lean toward the magic users more than the physical superheroes, I'm okay with that too.
yeah, absolutely.
Give me some Wanda, give me some Doctor Strange, give me some Moon Knight, I'm good with that.
Give me the strange and wonky.
Oh yeah. Yeah, go into like all the double down on it instead of just skimming the surface. It's just like, let's just go boom.
Yeah.
Let's dive
Mhm.
into that pool and go into the deep zone.
Go to the
Yep.
deep end.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Yay.
We're so excited about the lightsaber.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if
Too excited.
Mo and
Too
I
much.
can't play with it, but we still like it.
Hasbro, if you want to send us some to review, Nani and
Yeah.
Yeah.
go for
We
it.
we will
definitely-
full on review them. We will
Yes.
play with them.
We
We
will
will set
probably-
something up and play with them. And
Yes.
Yeah,
Post
we'll need
it.
three. We'll need three
Yeah.
so that we can each have, like individual reviews so that we're impartial.
Bush. But
but I think with that we're done, correct?
yes,
For
until the next
now and
episode.
until celebration.
Well, till
Well-
next episode of Moon Knight.
Yeah. Well, apologize that we've been a little bit inconsistent. I think we've said it before. I'm in law school and life happens. Sorry, it's my fault.
It happens.
It also, as you saw today, Mo, electricity runs out in Puerto Rico all the time.
Oh,
It happens.
It happens.
More often than not, we've canceled a few shows just because
Yeah,
He has no power.
it happens.
it happens.
And we're reviewing this show a week late, but Puerto Rican time is always late. So
Yeah.
you have to deal with that too. But
Sometimes
anyway,
too, yeah, sometimes too, I think, and this is something I think in general, as podcasters, we always try to like, stay ahead and like watch everything on time so we can get our stuff out. But sometimes it's good to pump the brakes and just like take
Yeah.
your time, because life passes us by, right? If we don't
Mhm.
just like take our time and smell the roses and watch things on our own time and be able to digest
and
it in a
actually
positive
appreciate
way.
it.
So sometimes we'll take a little longer, and that's good. So should you. Take your time. Don't rush. Watch
Don't
things on
rush
your
your
own
life.
time.
Yes.
Life
But
lessons
always listen
from
to
the
Triad.
Triad.
At your own
Take
pace.
your time watching
Yeah,
watching all your
yeah.
shows, but always
watch
listen
us.
to us.
And on that note, we are the Triad of the Force. Find us anywhere that podcast can be found. Just search Triad of the Force and you'll find us on Twitter, YouTube, anywhere that podcast can be found, Instagram, Facebook, the Triad. And look forward to our appearance in Star Wars Celebration 2022. A dream
If you weren't
come
sure
true.
about getting tickets, now's the time. We're gonna be
Do it.
Get your tickets.
Triad will be there live. So don't remember to like, subscribe, leave us some comments. We always love our opinions, and especially on Marvel stuff, we're not that knowledgeable. So you can totally criticize us on Marvel stuff, on anything even, but especially Marvel, because I'm pretty sure we are not that good. We are just
No,
fans.
no.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I
Full
am
disclaimer.
strictly, and with DC as well. With DC
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Marvel, I'm strictly, TV and movie person. I do not read the comics, so
Hey,
I do not know.
But
anything
you
beyond
can
that.
still be called a fan just because you enjoy it, not because you
This
know
is
every
true.
single detail.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It's all
And
about
with
loving
that-
what you love.
Plus, we've all read the Wikipedia, and that's more than
That's right. It's the
most
same
fans
thing.
will do.
That's where it is. That's where the info is. No, it really is about just enjoying your media. And if other people criticize it because they don't think it's faithful enough or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as it's media that you love at the end of the day. So with that, positivity, may the force be with you.